welcome back. When it comes to tributes and Gordon Lightfoot, nobody knows that subject better than Jory Nash. He's been connected to one of the longest continuously running concerts where musicians come together to celebrate the gift of Gordon Lightfoot's music.
Well, I think first and foremost, he's one of the greatest songwriters that this country has ever seen. And at the time that we started the tribute, I co-founded it with my friend Angus Finnan, a fellow singer-songwriter, and we thought about putting together a tribute record because there were a lot of tribute CDs at the time. Leonard Cohen had a tribute, Joni Mitchell had a tribute CD, and there was no Gordon Lightfoot tribute record. So we were very young. We thought there should be a Gordon Lightfoot tribute record. So we started making a list of artists we might approach, some that we knew, some that we didn't. It was just kind of a wish list. And then we got word of an actual tribute record that was being planned. That later turned into the record Beautiful. And it had a whole bunch of big names like the Tragically Hip and Blue Rodeo, way bigger names than we had on our little list. And we didn't want to set up a situation where even if both records were made, one would be compared to the other favorably, better, worse. That's not the idea when you're celebrating the music of a writer. So we decided not to do our tribute record, and we'd switch gears. And it just so happened that right around the time that we were thinking this whole project, Hugh's Room in Toronto opened up. It was brand new, and so we said, why don't we do a tribute concert? Same idea, we'll invite about 10 different Canadian roots artists to the show, and everybody will do a couple of Gordon Lightfoot songs of their choosing, and we'll celebrate his music in a live concert. And we called up Hugh's Room, and the fellow who was booking it took a chance on it and gave us a Saturday night, and away we went.
Those concerts started in January 2003. Jory Nash came by his love of Lightfoot's music as part of his upbringing.
Well, my parents were big Lightfoot fans. They used to go see him at the Riverboat in Toronto. And so from a very early age, that was one of the staples of our cassette player in the car. And we'd go on driving trips, and there was Pete Seeger, there was Gordon Lightfoot, there was Simon and Garfunkel. And the second concert I ever saw, I was 9 years old. My family, the whole family, we went down to see Gordon Lightfoot at Massey Hall. And I was like, those are the songs that are in the car. We made a poster the very first year we did this celebration.
Having Lightfoot attend the annual celebration concerts revealed a quality about the man that gained more respect and esteem with Nash and other musicians.
And these are the artists who appeared that first year. It's a lot easier now than it was when Gord first started coming to the celebration. The first time Gord came to our celebration of his music, everybody was nervous. I found out, I think a couple days before, his management had called to let me know he was going to come and watch the show for the first time. And so I told the artists, and everybody was excited and nervous. And you could tell people's performances were affected. People were just a lot more nervous, and they really wanted Gord to like what they were doing with his songs. And as I've gotten to know Gord, and he's come many times to the show, my own comfort level playing for him has increased. But I've also learned that Gord is really supportive of anybody who approaches his music. He's said to me there isn't a version of his songs that he doesn't like, and he really appreciates people doing that. When you know that, and he's very genuine, he actually makes a real effort to go and individually talk to every artist in the show, take them aside during intermission and say, I really liked what you did, and thanks them. And when somebody does that, it just makes you excited to play it, not nervous. So the way that I react to him in the audience has changed. I'm always excited, but I'm less nervous. My parents were at the very first Mariposa festival, and they got an original poster that was hanging in my father's office.
Nash thinks the creation of a statue is timely and proper.
Now that every day I eat breakfast, and Mariposa is over my breakfast. We're now in an era where people are truly appreciative of what he has done as a writer for Canadian music. He's stayed in Canada. He's lived in Toronto, pretty much since the 60s. He he tours Canada, and he tours parts of Canada that a lot of artists of his stature don't to this day. And there, for a while, you couldn't hear Gordon Lightfoot on the radio. You wouldn't see much in terms of articles when he was playing Massey Hall. And now he's being honored, quite rightly, in my opinion, for his contributions to Canadian music, all across the board, from the Canadian Songwriters Hall of Fame to Lifetime Achievement Awards. And I love that that's happening. I think it's not overdue, but it's right, and I hope it continues, because he really takes. He's very gracious in letting people know who are honoring him that he appreciates it, but he's also, he's a very private person, so that's, I bet it's a struggle for him. My feeling about a monument is the same as I feeling about a tribute CD or a Lifetime Achievement Award. Any way that we can honor and celebrate Gordon Lightfoot's music and his contributions to the music scene in whatever form, whether that is a monument, a book of poetry inspired by his music, whatever it is that can be done in a way that celebrates, that rises, and that really pays tribute to, I'm all for. All for. Any and all, especially while he's still with us. Because I find that, someone like, say, Pat Burns, I'm a hockey fan, and Pat Burns was posthumously, made it into the Hockey Hall of Fame, which I thought was a travesty. There's no difference, Pat Burns' contributions now, after he passed, when he was finally let in, and 2 years before when he was still alive. They should have honored him when he was alive so that he could feel some level of contentment and see the honor that was bestowed upon him. And the fact that all this is happening while Gord is still with us, and he's still vibrant, and he's still playing, and he's still performing, to me it's the right thing, and I'd like to see more of it.
When we come back, Murray McLaughlin and Larry LeBlanc weigh in on Gordon Lightfoot's place in history.